Good way to start, though, to discuss swallowing flies.
Yeah. I mean,
That's it.
Hey, yeah.
That's how you know.
No thanks.
We're gonna have a great night.
Full of
guys.
big old-
I can feel it right now. That's a fancy watch you got there.
It's a Timex.
Well, it looks fancy.
It's a time. I did make the strap though. I did say.
Right.
I did make the watch strap though.
It's $1,000. It's $1,000 watch. I'm just kidding.
I think it was $25.
Whoa! So he snapped.
Boy, he
he
was
snapped
getting
at me.
snappy, wasn't he?
I was just trying to keep it natural here. And I got this thing. So
We're here.
Well, it was a wave. Okay. Well, hey, welcome to another episode of 4 or 5 of Almost Anything. I'm Sean. I'm your host. I'm super excited. I have just the best night, okay? Just get ready. So it's going to be good for you. As usual, before we start, I just want to let you guys know tonight is sponsored by Construction Components.
No, it's. Oh wait, that's a different one.
No,
oh,
it's not. This is the very same one.
You just never said the name.
That's right. No, see, there it is. Dave Robbs.
Hey,
Welcome.
thank you.
Welcome.
I'm Steven.
Yeah, they just met. They're I'm actually, if some of you guys may know, friends, you will know that Dave and I have actually been friends for quite some time. We met at a discipleship school years ago, and Dave instantly became my best friend there because he was literally my polar opposite as far as he knew stuff I didn't know, so everything I needed to know about.
And I had a car.
Yes, and he had a car. Early contemporary Christendom and music and CDs. I went through his CDs, Dave's CDs. Yeah. They weren't in alphabetical order, but I was pretty sure they were color coordinated. I think they
might have been.
They might have been. Yeah. I think it was by release date or something like
CDs and tapes. I think I still had some tapes at that time.
Nice.
That's a thing.
It is a thing.
Yeah. So do you still have any CDs?
I do have a bunch of CDs. I actually.
What do you do?
What
do you do?
You put them in a CD player?
Well, yeah, you can put them in
and
a
you
CD
listen
player.
to them?
CD player.
I find them every once in a while in storage. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah,
okay.
I've got 2 drawers out in the garage that are just full of all my old CDs, and then out in the garage I use a CD player.
I had to turn this down because I'm getting a text here that says, "Are you bringing macaroni salad?" Clearly.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's not something I'm doing, people. I'm not bringing macaroni salad. I promise. I'm going camping.
Nice.
Yeah, which for me is a big deal.
Where are you going?
Lake Roosevelt. Somebody said I was going camping on the face of hell because apparently it gets a little toasty there. But
if there's a lake, then
yeah,
you've got a little bit of an out.
I just think for the most part, though, I'm just not a camper at all in any way, shape, or form.
Like tent camping?
Any form of
Is that what you're doing at Lake Roosevelt?
Yeah. Well, I actually have a friend who said I could borrow their little camper trailer.
Yeah,
there you go.
So you can get in there and get a little fluffy bed going. And stuff
use
like
it.
That.
Yeah, great.
I got a great Dave story. Dave actually one time was going to, before we get into the
movies,
the premise of tonight, which I'm telling you is just going to be, it's going to be life-changing. I'm telling you, I'm really excited about this.
I'm trying to get on the chat right now, too.
Okay. Well, chat people, we're going to tell you, pretty soon we're going to tell you your question of the night here. I'm just trying to share this. Share this with your friends and like it, because I'm telling you, you're in for a good one tonight. It's just all there is to it. It's just going to be more fun than you can shake a stick at. And so let's just do this all fun together. There we go. Okay, so it's shared. So your question of the night, what is your movie that you feel should absolutely not be remade? I mean, there's no way this movie should ever be remade. It would be just absolute heresy if somebody did remake it. That's what we want to talk about tonight. We're going to go there because I just think it's just the funniest premise in the whole wide world. So we're going to do that. But one of my favorite, I have a favorite Dave story. It's actually a more recent Dave story. I was trying to get in shape. And so Dave, who is a rucker, we should probably just have you on just talk about rucking sometime.
We could do that.
That would be a good one. That would be
rucking.
Rucking. Yeah, Dave, you want to explain a little bit? Yeah, you want to explain
hiking with a lot of
Dave, why don't you explain a little bit about rucking? We're going to get a little off track, but that's what you can do with podcasts.
Yeah,
you can get off track. So can you explain for people who are not physically interested in activities what rucking is? Because this is voluntary what you do here. Okay, this is not just jogging. This is next level jogging.
Well, it's not really jogging because I personally don't like to jog, but I don't mind walking. And rucking is really basically just adding weight to a backpack,
Right.
and walking with a purpose.
Voluntary
you're not-
weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just add extra weight. It helps you. It actually kind of helps your posture a little bit. And,
Right.
It
It helped mine.
Yeah. It
You put
can.
quite a bit. Yeah. Well, I didn't actually I didn't have that much, though. Did I?
I think you had like a 20-pound plate in there. That's
So
good.
and the whole premise.
When you're not used to it.
And you have a
20
flag.
pounds is a lot.
Yeah, right. So you have a flag.
Yeah.
And so we're in kind of this thing where we're going back and forth. You know, whoever's got the flag, you have to stay with the flag, stay ahead of the flag, or you stay with the flag.
Flag's out front.
The flag's out front, and
Yeah.
no one can pass you.
Well, yeah. When we do like official like Go Ruck events,
Right.
they have a U.S. flag that you carry, and it stays out front all the time. Never touches the ground.
Never touches the ground. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. So Dave and I went on a ruck. We went on a ruck, and it wasn't very. It was only like 3 miles.
Yeah, about 3 miles.
Yeah, 3 miles. And so it was one of those things where we did it, and I already shared it, by the way. It's shared. It's in the public world. Oh, Dave's already Steve's already texting people, saying
putting
don't
it
ask.
in there.
Yeah, it's in there.
That's my job. All right.
We don't pay for that though. I don't have any money.
It's okay.
Okay,
I'm
no,
not asking
it's-
to be paid.
So Dave takes me on this
I do it
ruck.
because I love you.
He takes it on a ruck, and I love you too. Okay. He takes me on this ruck, and I feel so inspired when it's over. Like I'm like, wow, I did something really good. Like this is super healthy. And I think that was on a Friday that we did that. We did it like on a Friday.
Yeah.
And then I was preaching at my church on Sunday, and I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
I literally couldn't walk, and I was like, I waddled to the pulpit like on the outsides of my heels because it hurt so.
Yeah. Everything hurts.
Everything.
A lot
hurts.
of things you didn't know were there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not
They
getting
hurt.
any younger, but that was painful stuff.
Your upper dorsami.
Yeah, something.
Upper dorsimus.
I think a couple of those were in pain. It was
Of your dorsimuses.
So anyway, so tonight, what the premise of tonight is this, and it is good. This is a good thing. What movies should just absolutely never be remade? Okay, and just why anyone would even consider remaking certain films? And I just thought, this is a good topic to get on. So when we kind of just flirted with the idea, and the reason Dave's here is Dave's a movie buff. This is what I don't know if you guys do it anymore. On Christmas Eve, they stay up and watch movies till past midnight, right? Or is it midnight?
Yeah, typically.
Typically,
the kids are getting older and we're getting older.
Right,
So
right.
it's- and then
wants to
my
go to
mom
bed.
and dad are really old.
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of like 10 o'clock's the cutoff now.
So one of the things my wife and I used to do, we used to love, is we would go and crash the Robs Christmas Eve because they would make really good hamburgers and watch movies. It was delicious.
Hamburgers on Christmas Eve?
Yeah. It
Well,
was
if you've ever seen House Guest, at the very end of House Guest, there's Sinbad,
Oh,
Phil
okay.
Hartman. They're out grilling
Right.
at a Christmas party in
Right.
the backyard. We thought, this is great. This
is
is
it.
brilliant. Let's do it.
That's a good idea.
hence
So
why he's literally
Christmas
the
Eve
perfect guest.
is hamburgers.
His Christmas tradition is based off a house. That's what I'm
House
saying. So
guest.
that
I
is
was like,
why
house guest, who's in
that is
that?
why
Like, I
you are
can't
here.
remember.
I was like literally I was like, honey, I need a movie guy. And she's like, Dave, honey, just get Dave. This will make sense. It will be the best podcast you ever done. So when Steve and I first started talking about this, we started, and I changed.
What did you change?
I changed. When we first started talking about this, we were just throwing some ideas out when we were at the very beginning of the podcast. I said Star Wars. Like the whole Star Wars canon, for you to even attempt to remake a Star Wars film would be heresy. And then today, I changed my mind. I changed my mind because of one sentence. Sand. It's so coarse. I hate it. Or whatever. I don't forget what he says. Anakin Skywalker. I think the world would be better if episode 2 they recast Anakin Skywalker.
and then those
With
three.
anybody. I don't even care if they recast him with Adam Sandler. I mean,
That'd be weird.
if they would just, I don't even know who the guy is who plays Anakin.
I don't know that.
Yeah,
Young
but
Anakin?
yeah, it's just
So you're talking episode 1 then?
Yeah.
With little Anakin.
no.
And
the
Jar
s-
Jar?
No,
Like, get rid
second
of Jar
one.
Jar?
No. The
Oh,
little
you
one,
mean
little
teenage Anakin?
teenage
Teenage
Anakin.
Anakin, okay.
When he's like, the sand, it's so coarse.
That'd be
Yeah.
episode
And you're
2
so
and 3.
smooth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it would be
yeah, right. So you'd have to get rid of. So episode 2 and 3 would be okay with me.
Right.
When
So
did those movies come out? What year did those come out?
Oh,
Early
gosh.
2000s or late 90s?
yeah, I think it'd be early 2000s.
Yeah.
because that was a big deal.
I'm trying to think of what other younger actors were out of the time that would have been better.
So I had changed. Steve, you had said I said Terminator would be something you couldn't touch either, just because Arnold is so iconic.
I said that's,
and then
I'm totally fine, except for Terminator 2, which is by far for me the best action movie of all time.
Absolutely,
it's absolutely nice.
Yeah.
See, I knew I would.
I love T2.
See,
It's
as a non-movie
fantastic
buff, I'm
movie.
going to enjoy watching you.
It is
go
a
ahead.
fantastic movie.
Yes.
So right out of the gate, then, do you have a just this cannot be remade?
I think when you talked to me, I was working in the garage and I was working away, and immediately the first movie that came to my mind was Jaws. Like don't remake Jaws. You've got Spielberg who directed it.
Right.
A shark that didn't work half the time.
Right.
So they wanted to show more shots.
Right.
If you listen to what Spielberg said, they wanted to get the shark out of the water.
Okay.
And terrify people. But
It
just
didn't
like
work.
with Shyamalan's movies,
Right.
oftentimes and even Hitchcock and
Yeah.
a lot of what they know that whatever they put out there is not nearly as scary as what you can imagine in your own mind.
Right, it's very true.
And so Jaws, when you stop and think about it, the fact that you just saw a dorsal fin half the time.
Right.
I mean, even now,
Right.
I don't want to go in the ocean.
Right.
I make sure somebody's out there further than I am
right.
and on a
Especially
surfboard.
when some punk kid is in a pool going like this. Just kidding.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So Jaws would be one, and then I mean Robert Shaw. How would you replace
That's true.
that old
Yeah, you couldn't redo
that old guy
yeah.
running
Yeah.
the boat and
And when you think about it, there's been plenty of movies that have tried to remake Jaws in their own way, and
right.
every single one of them has been absolutely
You're gonna
horrid.
CGI
There's
it
not
and
even
it's-
one really good shark movie that I can think of. They're
Well, they
all
just
cheese
jumped
ball.
straight to Megalodon and went.
Right,
know,
what is the Meg? I haven't seen the Meg yet.
Yeah,
but
the Meg, and they jumped from the Meg from probably what I think is some of the and which will just tell you what kind of theatrical pond scum my philosophy is Sharknado 1, 2, and 3.
I was gonna say Sharknado is.
Fine theatrical presentation because of the acting stylings
You mean
of
1, 2,
Ian
3,
Ziering.
4? I think they've made their way into
I
part
also-
5 at this point. for
Right, I also
Sharknado.
believe Ian Ziering starred in Malibu Beach Squad on Netflix. That's available for your children.
have no idea
That's
what
when
that
you
is.
know. That's when you know a career has gone down the toilet when you are on the kids section of Netflix, of
right.
Malibu Rescue. So
Not good.
Yeah, no, it's not good. So Jaws, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
That was the
so
first one that came
type
to
in the
mind.
comments in the below if you believe that Jaws is safe from the remake, because you know what, Dave, I would agree with you, but I don't know if it's safe. I think someone might actually give it a shot. I see someone 10 years from now going, yeah, we can
It
do
wouldn't work though. There's just no way you could do it unless they did it practical again. If they decided not to go with CGI, they might have a chance if they went straight practical. But
Right.
did it really, really, really well practical though. I think that's the only way they could make it work.
Well, did you see Soul Surfer? That shark came out of the water. Soul Surfer
I don't know
is
that one.
a Soul Surfer. Well, again, because I have a daughter.
Is this a Netflix?
It's a Netflix. No, it was an actual movie. It's about I forget her name now.
Oh, is it? She gets her arm.
She gets her arm bit
off.
so she's surfing.
Yeah.
She gets her arm bit off. So they're out surfing, and it's so funny because in the movie it's like 5 different times they make you think this is the time.
Yeah.
They're surfing at night. This is the time the music is.
It's all intense.
Yeah.
Everything's. They're partying on top, and everything's under.
They jaws it for you for a
Yeah,
couple
they totally
tries.
jaws it. It's like their whole underwater scene. Oh, this is it. This is the one. And finally, my daughter set me straight. She's like, "This isn't the one, Dad." Because I'm like, "This is it." I'm bracing myself because I can't watch stuff like that. I don't even watch shoot 'em up movies. I just can't. And so then, nope, they're just out surfing with some friends. And I mean, this shark comes, bites her arm off, and then it's just blood everywhere.
Wow.
And she's.
No,
No, she's not.
This.
She's
doing
not.
this.
She's doing this. And then she stops doing that. And then literally there's just a huge chunk out of her surfboard and her. And I'm like, this is PG-13.
Yeah.
That was crazy. So yeah, that's probably blew that entire premise out of the we might as well just jump right to it. You're wearing a
Shirt.
No, you're wearing
Movie related.
I would contend you're wearing a shirt representing possibly one of the greatest movies of all time.
It is
It's a
fantastic.
great movie.
That would be The Sandlot.
Yes.
COVID has done a really weird, fun thing to movies because everyone's doing these regroups. They're getting back together, and on YouTube, I just watched 2 nights ago Sandlot. They all got together
cast.
over Zoom.
that's
The
cool.
cast, and they got together, and there's some weird ones like Goonies. They all got back together, and it's like some of those guys didn't age really well. But the
was a good
Sandlot
one.
guys, they all
I
did.
did see the Goonies.
And the Sandlot guys, the funny thing is, all the Sandlot guys are still really good friends. They're like all in their 40s now. They're all just
Buddies.
really, yeah, they're just really
That's
good
awesome.
buddies. Except for Wendy Peppercorn. She didn't show up. So, but so would you contend that obviously Sandlot would be?
Yeah, I think Sandlot would be another movie that you
Have to.
you shouldn't touch.
I think they did a
it's great.
Sandlot 2 years later, not
Yeah.
with the same characters, and I don't even know the premise of it, but I
Yeah.
saw it. I was like, I'm not going to bother to watch
Right,
that. It
right.
just looked like garbage. And then I think, yeah, Sandlot's definitely one of those ones, at least as for me as a kid when it came out, I watched it a million times, and it's
Yeah.
just, I don't know what, it's just one of those timeless sort of movies, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like along the lines of, what was that TV show with Fred Savage? The Wonder Years.
Wonder Years.
It kind of has that Wonder Years feel with the narration and stuff over
yeah,
it.
that's good.
Kind of.
They actually do a Sandlot soccer version because Squints Palladores and Ham, they actually are in a soccer show called The Big Green.
Oh, that was a funny movie, actually.
The two of them
That's
are in that. I was like,
That's right. I forgot about
Well, this
that.
could be watchable. It's kind of like
That
watching
was
the
kind of like
soccer
a,
version
that
of
was
the
like
Sandlot.
soccer Mighty Ducks in a way. It was kind of all that
Yes.
same time. Yeah.
Yes, no, it was really good.
Mighty Ducks.
Ducks.
You could probably remake
Emilio.
Mighty Ducks.
You could remake the Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks is good, but you could
Anything
totally
with
remake that.
Emilio Estevez, you could probably remake.
Yeah.
I think. I mean,
Young Guns?
Ooh.
Could you do that? Young Guns? Was he Young Guns or Young
Yeah.
Guns 2?
No, he
he
was
was
Young
in
Guns.
Young
Yeah. Ooh.
I think you could remake Young Guns.
That'd be kind of cool.
You could go gritty with it.
Well, no.
They redid
go
They,
grittier-
on
grittier
Netflix,
with it.
Magnificent Seven.
the
They did.
and that
No,
was good.
I know, but it was. I wanted it to be really good, and then I watched. I was like, I mean, there's actors that I like in it a lot,
Right.
And I think in my head, I was like, oh, this is gonna be fantastic, and it was just okay, and I was kind of let down by it, but it was fun. I like westerns, but I think for that one, it had too much humor. There was just a little bit too much on the side of humor in it. And I
Right.
think that kind of, for westerns anyways, when you're doing that kind of thing, unless you're purposely making a comedy,
Right.
it doesn't,
good call.
for me, it doesn't really work in westerns. But I think
Makes
that's
sense.
basically because I grew up watching like old westerns with my grandpa, like every Sunday after church. Either be golf or an old western. So I've seen, I mean, every Sunday.
Sometimes at the same time.
All the like
All
the Clint Eastwood, the
yeah,
spaghetti
all of
westerns.
those. Like
They're-
none of those are funny. Those are all.
No, not at all.
on Netflix, they have.
He's a Netflix.
I am. That's all I
aficionado.
do. And mostly I watch Barbie Dream House.
Oh, okay, that's
with
a
my
good
kid.
one.
A couple other things. No, on Netflix they have this show that is it's like an old version of the Young Guns, where it's the same premise. So I think that's where Young Guns got because they have a kid called Billy.
It's a series, right?
Yeah, it's a series.
I think I tried to watch
and
it. Yeah.
one of the guys is one of the kids is Thanos.
Oh, really?
What's his name? What's Thanos' name?
Oh, the actor Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin. Josh
Also
Brolin
in
is
the
one
Goonies.
of the
Also in the Goonies.
Yes, he was. So he
Goonies was his first movie.
So,
We have
you
to get
know,
to the Goonies at some point in this conversation.
I've never seen Dazed and Confused.
I think
but
I have, but it's been a long time.
I guess that was Matthew McConaughey's first movie.
Yep.
Again, what I'm
That's
learning
where
from.
that's where
I'm
all
learning-
right.
I know. There we go.
Came from,
That's as
right?
deep as my profound movie trivia is going to go tonight, right there with Matthew McConaughey, and it's only because I saw it last night on one of those regroupy things. So, but Dave, that was But could you remake current Young Guns life without Lou Diamond Phillips, Emilio Estevez, and a cameo from A1 John Bon Jovi?
Was John Bon Jovi?
He
came
was.
out in that?
He played a captive. When they had the prisoners in the holes that
He
they
was
were
one of
sending
them
around.
prisoners.
Yeah. Big.
Was he in the soundtrack or something? Like
Well, he did. That's what.
the closing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, it's been a
Yeah.
while. I was like, why would he be in it other than doing
Yeah.
the
No, it
soundtrack?
was good. I was a Bon Jovi fan. So, okay. So
There's one other.
I'm going to
movie
say you
that-
can. I'm going to
that-
say you could remake it. And you're right. I agree with that one.
One other movie that came to mind that I don't think you should remake, and that is The Big Lebowski.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
100%.
You couldn't even touch that.
100%. Why would that one be so? That
John
is-
Goodman?
It just
Yeah.
would work. Yeah. You could probably do some kind of weird prequel version of it, which is what's happening a lot.
Oh yeah.
And I don't necessarily mind that sort of a remake,
Sure.
but yeah, you couldn't remake that movie. There's just no way.
What do you guys think about stuff like comedies being remade? Because we've talked about westerns and we've
Has
talked
that really
about-
happened much?
Well,
I mean, I'm thinking of comedies like would you ever like something.
I can't even think of
Tommy
a
Boy.
I can't even
No,
think of a comedy.
yeah, no,
'cause it's
you
just-
couldn't do
It's
that.
just Chris Farley.
No,
Right,
you
but-
couldn't. Yeah, no, you
And I think maybe because comedies are so iconic in themselves when they're big, I don't think they would ever remake. Because I can't even think of a comedy that's been remade.
Right.
I can think of plenty of action movies that have been
there
remade.
has to be a comedy that's been remade, though. All right, we need that one in the comments too. Quick, somebody Google, has a comedy been remade? That's got to. There has to be a
There's
comedy
been
that's remade.
sequels, like, they did Dumb and Dumber 2. That
Right.
was just like a
Or
20. They've been
prequels,
doing
like-
that a lot.
Right,
They've been doing the
right.
20-year.
Yeah.
They've done the same thing with Bill and Ted that's coming out
Bill and
soon.
Ted's Money Grab, right?
Yeah.
Bill and Ted's.
I do want to see it. Though.
I-
I'm,
yeah.
I'm a sucker
No,
for
I
Bill and
want to
Ted.
see it too.
You watch the first two, they're just as cheesy as you
not
remember.
gonna
No, I know.
There's not going to be Rufus though.
No, there's no.
Okay.
Yeah, no
No, yeah,
Rufus.
Carlin's
No
gone.
Carlin.
So-
No, but as I watched the interview again because they're doing all these. Comic-Con. All of them are all happening
Yeah.
over Zoom now. So
Right.
the premise seems weird. Like it looks like they're almost trying to hand off the torch to like the daughters, and there's going to be these
Yeah,
daughters.
I don't think it's going to even work enough for
And
them
I'm
to be
just
able
like,
to pass off on
no,
another movie.
Like a Ghostbusters?
No. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. That's a comedy.
I haven't
kind of a
seen.
dark
I haven't.
comedy.
It's a-
Is that newest Ghostbusters already out?
I think it's still on its way, and that
Yeah.
actually looks good.
That
The
actually
one
does
they
look
did a
good.
couple
It
years
could
ago,
work.
Oh no, that one was
not so
awful.
much.
So I mean, yeah, I'm racking my head right now trying to think. Wow.
I guess
Dave
that's a
drops
comedy.
the gavel
but,
early
but
on.
even the Ghostbusters was not a remake of the
Yeah,
originals.
that was
it
a
was
mistake.
a continuation.
Sure,
It was a
sure.
side story with it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't see that as a remake.
Not to get all political. I just think you should have just left that one alone.
Yeah.
People are going to just yell at me for that one. Sean, it wasn't. You should have left that one alone. I mean, you're talking.
The only
I
reason
mean,
that I watched
Bill
it
Murray,
and-
Dan Aykroyd. I mean, this
Oh,
was
yeah.
a
yeah.
classic film. It's like,
Yes.
what we're going to do is update it. We're going to do empowerment. I'm like, no, I'm all for empowerment. Just don't do it that way.
Yeah.
Just, any other way.
There were funny parts
I'm going
in
to get in
it.
trouble for that. It's
There
okay.
were funny
It's
parts
fine.
in it, but overall, as a movie, I could have been neither here nor there.
No,
that it was
yeah.
even made. I watched it and I was like, okay, I watched it once. I'm not gonna bother watching it again. Whereas the original two Ghostbusters, I've seen. I don't even know how many times I've watched them since being a kid when they came out. Probably those movies as a kid that I probably should have never watched when I was as young as it does, but. It's just was the 80s and 90s. That's just what it was. It's weird because I had started showing my kids movies from when I was a kid. I was like, oh, this is PG.
Oh, yeah.
The Goonies. I finally let them watch The Goonies. Like, this is not PG.
This is not
even though it
PG.
says it on the box.
Yes.
This is definitely PG-13.
It's a different day back then.
No, well, that's when we were talking about this. I had the exact same thing happen. I played in a band,
Yeah.
and we just we're just young and dumb and just and so we like our introduction was like we'd watch Spinal Tap. It's like, dude, we're gonna watch Spinal Tap, because if you're in a band, you watch Spinal Tap.
Right.
And when you're a young guy, you're just like, all this thing is just funny, and yeah, it's a little crass and whatever. You just move on. But I'd forgotten all about it. And I just all I'd remember from Spinal Tap was this turns up to 11. It's like,
few
Mom,
iconic
it's like one more louder. I mean, it's great. It's a great movie. Stonehenge, where they order
Mini
everything
Stonehenge.
wrong. It's all mini Stonehenge. With I'm like, okay, this is awesome. So we were going through the Blockbuster, which tells you about how long ago
dates
this
you.
was. Yeah. My wife and I are going through the Blockbuster. Yeah,
Hollywood
Hollywood Video. And this is pre-Red Box. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Spinal Tap, honey, that is the funniest movie ever. And she's like, oh, well, let's watch it. I'm like, oh, it's great. So we got it, put it in, literally 5 minutes. And I'm like, oh, honey, I forgot about this. This movie is terrible.
A long time.
This is the worst movie ever. She's like, I could imagine. So she's like, you watched that? Really? Is this like when you went to church? I'm like, yeah.
It was a different time.
Yeah, we just
Different times.
My kids are 17, 15, 13, and we thought, hey, we could watch Wayne's World. That'd be all right. Yeah,
No?
some of it.
Oh,
some
no.
of it.
Overall,
the-
yes, but
the
then
kids
there's
were
a-
just like, Dad, this is so lame. I mean, besides the Bohemian
Rhapsody
Rhapsody
was
They didn't
great.
care about anything else.
in the car, they thought that was great, but the rest of it, they're just
It's such a cultural
it's
film.
so.
That's part of what it is. I
just
it's so
found part-
cultural. It was like because the whole Myers and Garvey Carney dated
Carvey.
Their character was so like part of the culture as far as SNL.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. So if you're kind of
Right.
separated from that,
Oh.
I could see that. I could see your kids would be like,
3 decades separated.
Right. There's even references in it that,
That's
that I
separated.
had to think about for a second. I'm like, what are they referencing again? It's been so
Oh,
long.
yeah, no.
There was a couple.
Right.
Not too many, though. There's not too many dated jokes in it, but
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true. No, well, I mean, so that would be, go down the Mike Myers road. None of the Austin Powers, which I would not watch those with my wife either.
No.
But you wouldn't remake any of those. I'm
No.
I'm still racking my head. Has anyone commented and said, is there a comedy that has
I
been
don't
remade?
think so.
What do you think about trying to remake like something like Spaceballs?
No,
Could you
never.
do that? No?
Heresy.
Okay.
Well, I would remake every. Wait, I would remake all 3 episodes of Star Wars before I would touch Spaceballs.
Like 4, 5, and 6?
1, 2, and 3.
I would I would leave 4, 5, and 6 alone.
Oh, and do 1, 2,
Yeah,
3.
1, 2, and 3 total. I'd sacrifice them
Okay.
before anybody let anyone touch my.
Precious Spaceballs. Spaceballs, the movie.
Oh, well,
That was a lull. An angel just flew over. Is that how that works?
Yeah, Spaceball. Yeah, I can't think of one comedy. There's been sequels to comedies, but
Sure.
I would
Yeah.
remake Grease. I'd have no problem remaking Grease.
no, yeah, musicals
Keep the
are one of those
songs.
things that they can redo.
the
Musicals are,
songs.
yeah.
Sure.
I actually liked Grease 2 better than the original Grease. You've not seen either one of them. No, I'm just kidding.
I have. It's just been
been
so
a
long,
long
and I think
time
I've
for
watched
me.
them once. I do.
I feel like that one just kind of.
John's out there all by himself.
Good. You want to talk about Grease?
As
Yeah,
far
John
as-
Travolta,
as far as-
Olivia Newton-John. Woo!
As far as musicals
Michelle
go,
Pfeiffer though. Michelle
Yeah,
Pfeiffer
yeah.
was in Grease too.
Oh?
Michelle
Yeah.
Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
As long as musicals go, I like Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
That's been redone.
You could remake that.
Has-
Oh,
has
That
it
was
been
the,
redone, or
not
what was
since the last time they redid it.
Oh, it was Les Mis was the one that was.
Les Mis, yeah, that's
been
more recent.
redone.
But Phantom of the Opera is a really good one. That's a good movie. And I mean, you could I think
You would allow that to be remade. Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
suppose
I think
all
musicals
are
you
up for
can.
grabs.
Yeah, you can. Except for Cats, that was terrible. They should have never tried to make that into a movie. I hadn't watched it. I haven't
happened
bothered to
there?
watch it. Actually,
I think Cat.
'cause
I think
everybody-
Cats the movie is what actually brought COVID.
When you have the
to the
actors
country.
who were in it making fun of it themselves
Yeah.
after the movie came out, you know that they thought, "Oh, this was awesome at the time," and then they
Right.
watch it like, "That's
Yeah.
scary. I don't like it."
Like, oh wait, we released the movie into production and we forgot the CGI on her hand. She's
Yeah.
still wearing her wedding ring. You know,
Whoops.
yeah, whoops. It's no. It's gonna bug me. I know what's gonna happen. Like 11 o'clock at night, I'll be like, oh, that's a comedy. It totally got remade. But no,
Right.
Yeah, I can't think of any that even no iconic comedies that could be remade.
no.
There's
But
just-
you're right though. Musicals are up. I mean, well, my wife would probably could disagree
My
that
musical
White Christmas could
kind
be
of-
remade.
Yeah,
She would be like that. That's not
I mean
that's not right unless it's for charity.
Yeah, as far as Christmas movies go, I mean, you wouldn't want to touch Home Alone, although I know they've done multiple sequels to Home
Yes,
Alone. But
Home
Home
Alone, I
Alone
think
1
it's-
and 2 are some of the best.
Yeah, no,
I
Home Alone
actually like
13
Home
I
Alone.
think is still out.
Home Alone 2 is my favorite out of the two, but yeah, I
That'd
don't
be
think you
fair.
could remake those.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to do Christmas Vacation.
No.
That's
No.
That's who are you gonna get to fill in for Randy Quaid?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're not going to put Randy Quaid in any movies.
No.
Out there in the
my
bathroom.
God, you're right.
His can of beer.
Morning, Clark. Oh, that's so good. Okay, what's your favorite? What's your very favorite line from a movie? Your very favorite line.
Oh man, it's so hard to have a favorite.
I know.
Well,
okay,
and
you can
my-
have two. I'll give you
My
two.
favorites all have swear words in them because those are the most funniest lines in those movies.
Mine's up there with. I think this one goes to 11 is one of my favorite lines. It's so funny.
Oh, you mean
Oh
from-
no
from any movie? Are you
No, my
saying?
favorite. My
line
favorite
from any movie.
My
Is that
favorite
what you
line.
just asked?
My favorite line is he died in a vicious gardening accident. They were talking in Spinal Tap where they were talking about how'd your drummer die.
In a
He's
vicious
like,
garden.
well, our first one like choked on vomit. He said, but it's like hard to tell because it wasn't his vomit. It was someone else's vomit, and you can't quite fingerprint vomit.
Mm-hmm.
And then our second one, he died in a vicious gardening accident. It's tragic.
Nice.
I hit the floor. I thought that was super good.
That's a good line. Favorite line of just in a
Stumper.
comedy.
Zach, what's your favorite? While these,
Yeah, what's your
what's
favorite
line?
line or movie?
Okay, you see, I prepared for like movies that can't be remade, but favorite line I could not have prepared for. One movie
They love
movie
preparation, those boys.
that
Sure.
nobody could remake would be Forrest Gump.
Sure.
True story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, true story. True story.
Yeah.
Jenny.
Line.
Well, I mean, so that would be like life is a box of chocolates.
That'd be from Forrest Gump.
From
Life
Forrest
is a
Gump.
box of chocolates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a true story. You couldn't mess with Forrest Gump. That would
No.
be like
The book is drastically different than the movie, though. If you
What?
had to read the book.
okay.
Books.
There is a book.
Yeah.
I just learned that just now.
Yeah.
Thanks,
yeah,
Dave.
It's
There we go.
drastically different.
There we go.
You're welcome.
Most good movies.
The more
come
you
from
know.
books.
Dun, 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 dun.
Now, one movie that was remade, and I actually prefer the remake over the original, although I don't know if you can call the original an actual movie because it was a TV miniseries, is the It series that they've done. You will probably never ever watch those
That's
movies.
Pennywise.
Pennywise the Clown.
Yeah.
Have you seen them?
I haven't seen
Why?
either way,
Yeah.
but
No.
Do you like horror movies?
Why?
No, not really.
No, yeah.
You-
There, it is. I love horror movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
When
I don't
you're
get
like
since
45
I've gotten married.
and
I
it
haven't
all-
really been able to
yeah.
watch because my wife just doesn't want to have anything to do anywhere near. So I have to like.
That's how
watch
night
them when
terrors
everybody's
start.
like, when I'm by myself.
Right.
Well,
you watch them by yourself?
dude, I grew up.
What
on
is
horror
your
movies.
glitch?
It's weird. Okay,
Oh
so
my gosh.
I grew up. Now, you've met my mom. Sweet, Christian
Doesn't strike
lady.
me as a horror film fan.
sweet Christian lady. Her entire life loves everybody, and my grandmother's the same way. They love horror movies. Always have. It's the weirdest thing. And
weirdest.
so I grew up, when my grandma would babysit me when I was a kid, I would go to bed watching the original Twilight Zone series as a kid.
Okay.
Like this was normal. So I just kind of grew up. It didn't mess my head up or anything like that.
There's nobody
Because-
hiding in a grate either.
But yeah, I watched the original It series when it came out.
Right.
And I think I was probably 7, 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. I can't remember exactly the year that it came out, but I've watched that movie so many times.
Okay, on another note. So anyway, Steve.
horror movies-
Steve.
I think horror movies in general can be remade because there's
All
a
of
lot
them
of
can be
really,
remade. They're trash. They're worthless.
they're not
They're
trash.
useless. I hate 'em.
Even the good ones, because
They're garbage.
I think they redid the Evil Dead movie, which of course is one of the more campy, cheesy horror movies from back in the day, and they redid that one, and somebody basically took it and just made it into like a legit horror movie, and it was
wow.
absolutely fantastic, but way gorier than.
No.
I saw.
My-
My grandparents were watching us when we were little. My parents were off for the weekend or something, and they were. It was just on TV. You know, we had like
Right.
4 channels at the time
Right.
that we could get, depending on how you could hold the rabbit. Or
Oh, there you go.
The
how
coat
much
hanger.
aluminum
Stand
foil
on
you had
one
on
foot,
there.
kid.
And
Hop, will ya?
and I think it was The Fog or something like that. There
Oh,
was
that's
this-
a good one.
And so I was kind of trying to watch it. I was kind of peeking out from behind the corner, just trying to watch.
Is the Fog
Yeah,
Stephen
it
King
just
or
was
is the Mist Stephen
terrifying.
King? I can't
Right.
remember.
See,
Oh,
no,
Terrifying.
so
I
good.
could not sleep that night.
good.
No.
Just yeah.
I can just go right to sleep like it's
Yeah,
nothing, and I
that's-
think it's
that's
just
aw-
because
Yeah.
my grandma, mom, and it was just like this is fun and it's not real and it's
When
just,
you're 45, it's all going to come back on you.
can
That's
disassociate
when you're
what's
sitting down in
reality
Yeah, I
and
can-
what's
I've
not,
always
then
just
you're
was
good.
when you're
raised to
45 years
disassociate.
old and you're sitting with your therapist, they're going to be like,
I have never once been to a
Steve-
therapist and I will never go to a therapist.
"How old are you?"
How old am I?
Yeah.
I'll be 30.
Yeah,
39.
exactly. When
this
you're
year.
45, sitting with your therapist, it's
not
going
gonna
to be
happen.
great.
No.
that's what I would tell my therapist. She's a nice lady though. Yeah, but she would. challenge-
Is she also your wife?
No. She lives in Chicago. She's
Oh,
nice.
okay.
No, I'm a really cool lady.
We have a couple of movies here that people have said that should never be remade.
Yeah.
The Princess Bride.
Oh, 100%.
Now, I have thought hard about this.
Yeah.
And I feel like somebody could do, because if you've ever read the book, there's an entire chunk of that. First half of that book is an Indigo story, which you get almost nothing in the movie.
That's true.
So almost half the book is his
do
story.
begging
prequel?
for a prequel.
You could.
Yeah.
I think you could do a whole Indigo series and then maybe go into
100%.
the rest of it. I think you could, even though I love Princess Bride.
Yeah.
And it's iconic. But there are things about it when you watch it now that the music is the one thing in that movie that bothers me when you watch it, because it's orchestra, but it's complete synth orchestra. It's terrible, and it's the one thing that bothers me when I watch it. I was like, if they could redo the soundtrack in that movie, it would really fix it for me.
The
I still
synth
love it.
orchestra, though, it kind of adds to the corniness of it.
I
That's
know.
part of the beauty of this whole thing
Yeah,
is, you know,
but it's-
like,
Bit of a carnival movie.
yeah,
It's
right?
just
I
bad.
mean,
Like the
it's
music is just bad in that movie.
to Blathe.
Oh no, it's absolutely fantastic. And
love?
I watched that movie. It was one of those movies which I probably seen a few hundred times.
Oh, it's glorious,
When I would
yeah.
go to my dad's on his weekends, we would pretty much watch that movie at both days on every
For
time.
sure.
we
No,
did.
we just let our daughter watch it a few
Yeah.
days ago, and it was
yeah,
like
I have
the
it.
best
Kids
thing.
have watched it.
I was
That's one
like-
of those ones where you
great.
can have your kids watch,
Yeah.
and there's really nothing in
I
there.
think they had something recently where they had different actors doing quotes and pieces from it. And
Serious?
I saw it on
Oh,
I saw
I
it
gotta
on
find
Facebook where they had it was just kind of a snippet of it, but they weren't doing like an official remake, but people at home with their phones.
Oh, that's fun.
So you
Firing
have
it
all
off.
these different
Yes.
actors and just actresses having a great time.
Oh my gosh.
filling in.
I gotta
Watch
find
it.
that.
It's pretty
I gotta find
comical.
ROU.
That's one of those movies where
usual size.
that's one of those movies where
Like the dog jumps on the guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, no, I think it's a little person inside of a suit.
Well, yeah, and the
the little
movie,
thing.
but in the,
I
in the
gotcha.
little clip, they
Oh,
just use their
that's
family
funny.
dog, and
That's
like, the
funny.
dog
Dog
jumps
jumps
on
on
the
the
road.
road.
That's really good.
Those, I mean, seriously, that I actually thought Reagan would have a little bit of trouble because
that's
big,
yeah.
big teeth on that puppet.
And
you
then there's
know?
blood. He gets a little chewed up.
Yeah, he gets a little chewed up.
And
on
then and then the scene when they torture him and he screams, that's a little kind of freaky. Even now when I watch it, I was like, that's a little
that
morbid.
that was a little long. Yeah, no,
But that's about it. After that,
That was her least favorite part.
Yeah.
Actually, I said, "Did you like it?" She said, "Yeah." She's the only one part I didn't like. It's the part when you scream, when Wesley screamed.
The part with the albino,
Yeah.
Andre. See, that would be hard. How would you find somebody like Andre the Giant?
No, you couldn't.
Oh yeah, that's the one
Yeah.
part
I mean, that
that
would
yeah.
be trying to redo that.
Anybody want to put it?
Anybody want to
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, you could maybe
Sorry, Indigo.
The Big Show.
I don't mean to jog him so hard.
Stop it. No, what is
Yeah.
it? The first rule is never
Inconceivable.
get a land war with Asia.
The second.
The second rule is never get involved with Sicilian when death is on the line.
Okay, we have a couple.
I was like, are you gonna finish? Okay.
No, that's the end.
Okay.
That's when he dies.
Oh,
Did you want me to fall out of
yeah,
my
well,
chair?
you're gonna lean. No, lean.
As a kid, we watched that movie so many
Oh
times
my gosh,
that
yeah.
my brother and I could quote it line for line.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
think there was a
we'd
period of
stay
time
up
when I
at
can, yeah.
late at night.
No, he
we
would.
just
He
be
would
back and
knock it
forth,
out.
quote
I
it.
think didn't I challenge you one time to almost do it from the one
Yeah.
time? I think you were staying over at my house.
Sure.
And I was like, Dave, just do it. And you started running.
just
it.
started rolling through it,
It's like-
yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, you really? I think that's where we wrote the Juan Chico Hernandez
Yeah, maybe.
songs. One of those times.
Pulled up
but
the
yeah.
guitar and I couldn't
Yeah.
play and play bass, but not guitar.
It was good. No, that was one of the things I could always remember about Dave. Is I was like, my gosh, and that was before I'd ever seen Princess Bride, so I had no appreciation even for like the beauty of what you were doing.
Or Aladdin, remember?
Oh,
Aladdin was the movie at that time.
I can-
okay.
watch
So does
Aladdin.
that count?
The
Does
remake?
Aladdin count?
I can.
Cartoon to
I can take it or leave it.
real
I mean, I know that
Yeah.
it's Disney doing their own movies again, but they're definitely remaking them, and
Yeah.
I could do with or without them. They do such a pretty good job of just mirroring the movies. So
Sure.
you're really
But Will Smith is not Robin Williams.
no. That's definitely
okay,
true.
alright.
It's definitely true.
In your movie trivia book, does that count as a remake? Or
Yeah, that's
are
definitely a
Are they
remake.
going to?
That's
Yeah,
definitely
it's-
a remake.
even if it's not cartoon, it's
Still a remake, complete
it's a remake. I watched it. I enjoyed it. It just was different, and I missed
Yeah.
Robin Williams.
Yeah.
See,
I
I
missed
wouldn't.
the genie.
I wouldn't
genie.
necessarily count it as a remake because it's literally a completely different.
It's the same story, almost screen for screen, scene for scene.
song for
Almost almost
songs are
identical.
different. I picked out.
There are
I-
different songs.
I picked out the. I picked out. Actually, I think Will Smith nails
He did a good job.
Ollie
Oh,
Bob
yeah.
when he's like, "Wait for it, we're gonna wait for it," something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
and
yeah.
he's holding it, and then it's all like, I was like,
Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah, we cranked that.
But it's
We cranked that.
it feels like its own movie, really. If you just pretend like the cartoon doesn't exist, it's a good movie.
right.
But comparing it to the cartoon is still
Well, because there's
better
no.
of the
I mean, they had
It's
to
just
change
Robin
the premise of the film because Iago is kind of non-existent as a character in the new one.
Right.
Which
that
he
was one
is-
thing I missed.
Right.
He's kind of the key
Gilbert
linchpin and
Gottfried.
yeah
Yeah,
and
and
like
he's not going to be in
you know
anything.
yeah there's no Gilbert and plus the whole storyline.
Once you get
of-
fired from being the Affleck duck, you ain't doing anything else after that.
True. so okay, that would be you could call that somewhat a comedy then that's been remade ish.
yeah,
But still, there's
it's-
not one that is
whether it should
that
or
is
should not have
there.
been made is another
Sure,
thing. Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Well, they got to make money.
Oh yeah, Disney's
Right.
that's
And-
their new
and
thing.
now-
Well, we ran out of
nowadays, I mean,
stories.
this
Let's
is
redo
a-
everything live
This
action.
is a great topic to be talking about because, as far as I know, like Hollywood's not up and running.
No.
So what are we gonna do when we
Right.
reach the point where
They've ran
the
out of
barrel's
movies.
dry?
Right.
What are they gonna do?
Well, I think what you're
So,
gonna get
Like a
is,
lot of reboots of the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, right.
Running around with their own
That's a
characters.
There we
good
go.
one.
No,
They
go
have
down that
remade
road
that
again.
one.
No. Well, that's probably a cheap film to make, right? That was just one camera.
It was still cheap.
Right.
You could do
There we go.
that.
No,
Yeah, three people from the same family. You can make your own.
It's but it is kind of interesting to think that right now. I mean, Hollywood is not doing. Well, I wonder if they are. I wonder if there's some things being done.
I would not be surprised.
I watched, we watch. I mean, this is kind of off topic because this isn't a movie per se, but we watch like The Voice or America's Got Talent,
Right.
that kind of stuff, and it's kind of interesting to see how they adapted to COVID. The Voice did it really weird because, they kind of sent these high production kits to everyone's house,
Right.
so that they could do their whole
Yeah.
thing. But now with America's Got Talent, because it's a complete different ball game. It's not
Right.
just
It's a
singing.
it's a
like
talent show.
It's people who are doing all these, darts and all this stuff.
Yeah,
so
they're in their
that
backyard.
They're doing things in their backyard, doing all this stuff. But then they're all right. Yeah, so you're not holding that camera and doing that juggling act. So, but now the judges are together, socially distancing.
Right.
And so the judges are together, and the camera crew's all there. They're all,
And
masked
they're watching a
like
big screen TV.
yeah, so they're watching big screen TV, and so it's kind of like, okay, well, so production has begun to start on something. So I'm kind of wondering how production. But I mean, if you think about it, if you took a movie like Avengers, which is 99.99,
Oh yeah, you're not getting
CGI.
any big action movies.
Well, no, but I mean that movie is basically made in front of a green screen.
That's true.
I mean,
You could still
entirely.
Make that
I
movie.
mean, except for maybe in Endgame, the scenes at Tony Stark, out at his place on a lake, that's kind of an outdoor shot.
Right.
There's a couple other outdoor shots, but the rest of that,
I think
Ant-Man getting out of the junkyard,
Yeah.
the rest of that is all CGI. I mean, you could
produce
you could
that.
actually make a Star Wars right now, probably really
Yeah.
easy because it's all,
CGI. That's true. And
CGI.
I think probably what will continue will be that kind of stuff, more CGI based, because they can easily do that with just a few cameras and.
You were talking about Star Wars, and because of COVID,
Right.
we've been like going through a lot of movies
right, of
that,
course.
that we've had for a long time
Right.
and haven't
On
watched in a while.
DVD or
We've got them digitally.
there you go.
Yeah, so
Digital ownership.
it's a lot easier that way.
Yes, of course.
You can't scratch it, right?
Right.
So, but we went through and watched, and so we started, I think 1, 2, 3, and then we just struggled through 1,
Right.
2 and 3, and we talked about the sand. You
Right,
already
right.
Talked about the sand.
Right.
We get to 4, and it's so interesting to see how much has progressed just with the CGI.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
As you see the fight scene at the end with Vader and Kenobi, and it's just boring.
Yeah.
It is just watch
Really?
it. Just watch it after watching. Go watch a couple of the other fight scenes.
Right.
Yoda where he's
Oh,
doing
for
all his
sure.
backflips,
Oh, yeah,
fighting
Because
fighting
he's all
Palpatine.
CGI.
Or-
yeah, he's all CGI'd. Or you go see the
Or even
some of the
Phantom
newer
Menace.
ones.
Phantom Menace, that's pretty intense stuff that they're doing in that one too.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
Darth
for sure.
Maul.
Yeah,
But
Darth
then
Maul.
you go back and you watch.
One of the
You
most
watch Kenobi
supposed
and-
epic fight scenes
Hey, his
ever.
heart
and it should be.
Hey, listen, technically, his heart's not in it anyway. He's throwing the towel.
That's
right?
true.
So maybe that's part
Right.
of what it is.
But you're watching.
But you're
just
right, yeah.
Thinking like this is
This is dumb.
You could do this in the backyard with a couple lightsabers. And it's really not that. But my son said, "Hey, Dad, you should watch this remake. A YouTuber did a remake of that whole fight scene and
Right.
with CGI sequencing." And it
And it
was
was
actually,
good?
Super good?
Oh, it was legit.
Really?
Because it actually
Oh my gosh.
gets into you're inside. You hear inside of Vader's head where he's where Anakin's yelling and he's like, "I hate you."
Oh wow! So he
He's-
like tweaks
yeah,
it big time.
Yeah, there's audio and all that in there.
Wow.
It's pretty legit.
Oh my gosh.
So that some of that stuff could be kind of cool.
Yeah,
but
you're gonna see a lot of that.
when
and
they
it's happening a
when
lot.
they
That's
added
awesome.
stuff in from
Oh, that was
from
awful.
4 with Jabba the Hutt being
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
the Falcon.
I
getting ready
have
to
those
take off
versions.
on
Those are the only ones I
Tatooine.
have, and I'm like, why do I have them? But they re-released them recently on Blu-ray and they took off all of that stuff. And
Okay,
it's
that's
the
good.
original edits, and I'm like, I gotta
Yeah.
get that because
Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
There's one thing that has come out of this, which I think by far is one of the most best things to happen since Hollywood actors can't do anything. I don't know if you've seen, but Kevin James has a YouTube channel the past couple of months, and every week he puts out a short. And
Oh
they're-
yeah.
They're so good.
Yeah.
I'll
And you're
have to
like,
check that out.
you always thought he was funny and stuff, and you're like, this dude's a like genius funny, and you know you think
Really?
because
Yeah.
when he's doing movies, he's being told what to do, and he's
Right.
like, this is him just writing his own stuff. He obviously
wow.
has some sort of a small crew with him.
Sure.
But a lot of it is he has this character. It's called the sound guy, and it's basically he's edited himself into famous scenes in the movies as a sound guy, just doing sound check or eating, taking a break. The scene from There Will Be Blood, where the whole "I'll drink your milkshake" scene. this famous line in that movie. And so it's like Kevin James and him sitting there, and Kevin James is like, so how's it going? He's just talking and eating his food and everything. And then it's so well done. And the green screen work that they did is perfect. He legit looks like he's just sitting in the movie.
Right.
It's just Kevin James. I was like, this is the best thing since movies have gone away.
Wow.
And it's just like, yeah, Kevin James is just a
It's
genius.
kind of fun to see some of that stuff.
It
Some
is-
good things I think are
Well, even
gonna
that
come
thing
out of this.
the dude from The Office. I'm forgetting names today.
Oh, Krasinski?
Krasinski.
Who does
Oh,
the
yeah.
He was
Good
doing
News?
Yeah, he was doing
All Good
some
News or
good
something
news.
like
Yeah,
that?
some good news.
SGN, that's it.
SGN, some good news. And then I guess it got bought. Like after about 6 episodes, ABC picked it up.
Oh, wow.
And now they own it. And he sold it for like, which was really weird and kind of awkward for him because he was like, well, I really was
This
going
is
to
out of my
make a
house
bunch of
with a
money.
phone. Yeah.
And so
It
you know.
changes it, I think, when you
Yeah.
have to, when you're getting paid to do something.
But I mean, I would say, it's really interesting because there are, I'm not going to belabor it. It's just cracking me up to think that I can't think of a comedy that's not been remade because I know as soon as we shut down, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, there's that one. But I mean, remaking movies is kind of one of those things where you have that moment where you hear, oh, they're going to do a remake of such and such, and there's something nostalgic inside you that kind
Right.
of goes, no,
Yeah.
leave that alone.
Almost like being a band trying
Right.
to cover a Led Zeppelin song.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Don't mess like this works.
Why would I do that?
Or even the fact that it may not work, it's okay. That's just part of what it is, and it's not like there's not enough good ideas left in the earth. I just think because it was like, what was it, about 5 years? It was about 5 years ago, right? We just kind of got into that remake circle.
Right.
Like there was that whole like, hey, we're remaking this, and I was like, oh, let's not. It's my daughter. So
They're home.
it's like, yeah, it's like, no, and you just kind of lose this little, like I think, what was the one that I made? Well, there we go. I would call that a comedy that was remade. I think Charlie's Angels.
Yeah,
I think there's a
they
couple.
did.
Yeah,
that was a
'cause
TV show turned into a movie.
Well, no, it was a TV show turned into a movie, and
Oh, they've
then
also
now they just
yeah.
remade
Oh,
a
yeah.
new version
That's right.
Right.
of
Right.
the movie, which just means there was nothing there salvageable.
Yeah,
in any of them.
And
Not
I think
that
you
I
could technically
watched it,
say that's
so-
more of an action movie rather
Right.
than anything. Which,
Right.
again, action movies for the most part, I
Right.
think you can remake them.
If
Like,
you remake Point Break, I'll be okay.
they did remake Point
did.
Break, like 8, 9, 10 years ago.
Oh, that's right.
yeah,
They did
No,
a
no, no,
Total
no.
Recall.
they did
They
Total
remade
Recall.
Recall.
that one.
That's why I was thinking that.
With,
Yeah, it's okay if you guys
And
remake
I'm
Point Break.
sort of partial to the original, and before I watched the new one, I rewatched the original. I was like, this is cheesy, but it's cool. There's some really weird.
Which one?
Total Recall.
Oh,
There's some really cool, weird
Yeah.
practical effects and
Yeah.
stuff in it. And then the new one, I was like, that's cool, but it to me, it didn't even feel like the same movie.
Could they
It was
redo
like-
like RoboCop? How about
Oh
that
yeah,
kind
you
of
could.
fun?
They
yeah.
did. They
Well,
did. They did RoboCop
They
too.
did that one too, right?
See,
Judge Dredd they redid.
See,
it.
that's what I'm saying. The ones that we don't care about.
Dread.
It
wasn't
was
Stallone, was it?
No.
It's
Judge
not like
Dredd.
Top Gun
I
2.
can't think of his name. In the Star Trek movies, the newer ones, the one that plays Bones, the Doctor.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
He
Yeah.
played Judge Dredd.
Okay.
Oh, he did.
Which is a
could
weird
see that.
pick, but I liked the remake of Judge Dredd. It was a totally different story. It was in the same universe,
Right,
and he was the
right.
same character. But
Sure.
it was. I think certain older action movies can be redone if done by the right person, because usually they were pretty cheeseball back in the 80s and 90s. There wasn't.
Right.
There
Go
was a
back
big.
and watch them.
Yeah, they're just like, this is cheesy. So putting it in modern stuff, you get cooler special effects. I think it works well in action movies and sci-fi stuff.
You couldn't remake Rocky.
Well, they
Well,
sort of did that.
They did Creed.
They did it.
right?
Well, and they also
No.
did a
But I
Rocky
mean,
with his
but I
son.
mean, you
Yeah,
couldn't. You
just
couldn't.
start over.
You couldn't.
Sure, you could.
Anything I think.
I think anything Stallone did, you could remake.
Not
I
the
honestly
Expendables.
think you could.
You might
Expendables.
check the comments.
Expendables as
I'm not a huge Stallone fan, so that's probably
as
why my
cheesy
opinion
as
of it.
Expendables is.
That's a fun one,
as
though.
a
Yeah.
as a kind of a premise.
Uh-huh.
I literally that is like it's the funnest. Those are the funnest movies to watch. I mean, because
Those are
obviously
fun.
you see Dolph popping out there.
Yeah.
You got Jean Claude popping
Every
out there.
old action
You
star
got
they could
Chuck
find.
Norris popping out there.
Yeah.
I'm like, who is gonna show up next? I mean, it's just like
Stone
this
Cold
is
Steve
it.
Austin.
Right? No, I mean it's just like all
Jet
of
Li.
it. It's so
Was it? It
amazing.
was Jet Li fighting. Oh, geez, it was another WWE.
Did Jackie
wrestler.
Chan ever show up in one of them?
Ooh, I don't
That's
know.
the only thing. That's
Well, here's the
where it
thing
ends.
about Jackie Chan, though. At the time with those movies, he's still a big star at that time. He's still been doing stuff. So
No,
that
but I
was-
mean, he could still show up.
he could, but overall, that was like action stars who hadn't done anything forever, for the most part, at that time. Stallone,
No.
since then,
No, because
name one that was doing huge movies at the time.
wow, you seem
Come on.
disappointed. Jeez.
Come on.
Wow.
Would you guys redo
Pouring it
any?
on a little thick there, Steve.
Would you redo any of the Alien movies or
Yeah,
Predator
all of them.
movies?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Predator movies, yeah. They've kind of.
They've done like
Freeform-
Prometheus, which was the.
I liked
prequel to-
Prometheus.
I really liked
I
it,
loved
too.
it and hated it all at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was cool, but there were some things and you're like, that's just makes no sense whatsoever.
Right.
Like the navigator guy who has the fancy watch, he's the only one that gets lost in that movie. That's the I was like, how is this guy? And then the guy who's the one that the biologist,
Right.
who's supposed to know how animals and things like that. The alien thing that looks like a cobra comes up and he's like, "What are you?" And he's like poking it. I was like, I would know that it looks like a cobra. And
looks
wouldn't
like it's
come
ready to
anywhere
sleep.
near.
I haven't seen it, so I have no idea. I'm
It's a
just
horror
waiting for
movie,
you
don't
guys.
watch
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Anything.
I love the alien movies,
Who's the guy in
even Aliens 2.
in the movie
Aliens.
Aliens,
Jason-
and then
Jason Stamos, not John Stamos.
Jason Statham.
Statham. He was in Expendables and he was still doing hot movies. He was. He was in
At the
all
time?
the Fast and Furious.
I think it was before his.
yeah, but
Fast
do you
and
count
Furious
Fast
stint.
and Furious like a real good action movie? This is
He was the transporter. He had 3 of the transporter movies.
Those are the
Transporter
only-
movies. Yeah.
He was
Transporter
in
and anything-
Italian Job. And that was a remake too.
That
Wasn't
was
it?
I think
Italian Job
pretty
was a
much-
remake. That was the original. Ocean's 11, the original.
But again,
Yeah,
that was an
Oceans.
action movie.
No, Ocean's 11 is not an action movie. I don't think. But the
it's
original,
like throwing
the
dice is
original,
action, right?
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, if you call if
not
walking
a-
if walking is an action,
It's
no,
not,
no.
it's not a comedy though.
But no, the original Ocean's 11 is nothing like.
Correct.
right.
It's not. I don't even know why they do that. I was like,
Yeah.
because I thought, oh sweet, I'm gonna watch the original, and like halfway through, I was like, I don't even understand this movie. This is not Ocean's
Now, how
11.
about this? What iconic movie do you think could be remade? Now that we've kind of come to the peak of what can't be remade, is there one that you would be okay with it being remade, or you think they could?
Well, again, that's Star Wars Episode 2.
Right.
Absolutely, 100%.
we've already covered that.
I think the live action version of Trolls would be great. Anything involving, gosh,
Like some movie that you would
no,
normally.
there's just that's the thing. Well, I mean, okay, King Kong was iconic and it got remade,
That's true.
and it kind of just got better with the remake.
And they remade it multiple times in
Yeah.
different ways.
Okay, this is really weird. I never really got into Jumanji, ever.
Yeah, I
I
could.
like
The
the
original
first one.
one.
The original
well,
one's
are you
good.
talking Robin Williams?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Robin
so I heard
Williams.
that was a little, again because I just
David
run from
Allen
creepy
Greer.
stuff.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
he was
When
so
you-
funny.
hilarious.
When you grow up how I grow up, anything that's creepy, you just
Yeah.
you
It's
just,
not
you,
scary,
you just
though.
go somewhere else.
This is
I
action,
went
animals in
to a
action.
movie with my friends at school. You know, where that thing where your parents drop you off at the
Right.
movie theater, and we snuck in. We said we were going to go watch something, and like my entire 6th grade class all went and snuck into Children of the Corn.
Oh, yeah. Children of the Corn.
I
that's a
didn't
good
actually
one.
watch it because I was just running around the theater talking to all my friends because I was just really stoked to be in a movie theater with all my
Right,
friends until all of a sudden it was like, they're coming for you too, Malachi. And
That
I'm like,
movie
where
is-
am I right now?
That movie is so long.
And I just ran out. So I've never seen it, but my little sisters, so I have 2 little sisters who like horror movies and can hack horror movies. And so when we were younger, they would always talk about, oh yeah, we watched this movie and stuff like that. And I would just be like, what's your glitch? I mean, there's just no way. So I just never got into like shoot 'em up, super intense. I mean, my whole grid was like Mark Wahlberg in Rockstar. That was a great film. It's a terrible film. You could remake that one. But I like funny. I just stick with funny.
Yeah.
I like some action stuff like that. So I mean, I think if I was looking for like an iconic movie, it's like, okay, it's just sacrosanct, but you could just, I would probably say a movie that's near and dear to me that could probably get remade would be. Come back to me. I don't know. I don't think there's
I have
one.
a pretty.
You can't do Spaceballs.
Can you think of one? All right.
I can't.
I know.
I have something that's probably going to be very controversial when I say this, but I think that the right director could redo Goonies. I think you could redo Goonies as a really fantastic movie.
You're gonna have
Because
to go
it's a
into witness
fantastic
protection,
movie.
like
I
immediately.
know, and I knew this. Not that I mean, Goonies is one of my all-time favorite movies all time. But after seeing, and again, I like horror movies. After seeing the It series be redone, and that director did such a really good job with it, I'm like, if you can take something that iconic, even though it was cheesy, and the Goonies itself is kind of cheesy too, but it's really good. It's on
Right.
It's on the right side of cheese, I think.
Right.
I think the right direct. I don't think anybody ever will try to make it because it is such an iconic movie. But I think there are probably some directors out there who could
Take a shot at it.
take a shot at it and actually
Okay,
make
if
a
you
really
had,
fun movie out of it.
so if you had to have one, if you have
It's
to
an-
do it,
It's an old movie,
okay.
but I think it's iconic, and I think redoing it would be actually kind of cool. And it's Ben-Hur with Charlton Heston.
Did they not
Wow.
remake that one?
I don't think they have.
That would be.
Hold on.
And it doesn't have to be 4 hours.
Right,
long.
right. That would be a little bit.
Didn't they do it with?
That would be
You
cool
know what, it
if
might have
they
been a
remade
series.
some of
I
the
got a-
old classics like that.
You got
because,
somebody like Ridley Scott who
Yeah.
did
Oh,
Gladiator.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So he's already familiar with that whole.
Wow.
I think that'd be kind of cool.
That would be
Dave,
cool.
Swings for the fences.
That would be a good
be
one.
cool.
That is a very iconic movie.
I
That
think
would
some
be
of those
cool.
other ones like
There was Spartacus.
Spartacus
There was
or-
one with, that was
They've done a lot
Michael-
I feel like they've done a lot of
done
mini.
TV
They've done
shows,
mini
right?
series based off of those movies, but
for
nobody's
sure.
Okay.
dared to do movies.
No, that would be a good one. I honestly can't. I'm stuck. I just cannot. I can't. Because I'm so limited. You guys are far more well versed in movies than I am. So I'm so limited in what I love that I'm like, why would you mess with? And I mean, things I love, like Back to the Future. I love. Can't
Right.
touch it.
Yeah.
You can't touch Back to the
You
Future.
can't touch Back to the Future, but I feel like you could do something. I mean, it's time travel for Pete's sakes. Get the right director, then you can do something that's totally associated with someone and still.
But
make
you
a
can't
cool
redo
movie.
it though.
No, you couldn't redo that. one.
Right. You can't redo it. You
And I don't know why I'm so adamant in not being able to. But Goonies, I'm like, yeah, you could remake that one. Cool.
yeah,
but
no,
I
that's
think
what I'm
it's
saying.
just I think
No, witness protection.
I think the reasoning for that I think Goonies can be well done because all of those actors were young kids and they had never done anything, so it's a real natural kind of feel to it. And as far as it goes, and the reason that I think it's similar,
So we're
is
covering
that-
Goonies and It again.
Well,
Boy,
to-
you're stuck. You're
well,
stuck.
they're at the
You're
s-
caught in a loop,
No,
man.
no, I'm
Get out
just-
of the loop. Gee.
No, it's because that movie too. The new version of it, they hired a lot of actors that hadn't really been anything, so you have that more natural feel as kids. So I think you could do a similar thing with Goonies, but Back to the Future,
No.
you just couldn't do it because Doc. I mean, both of them are just so hugely
Marty and
iconic.
Yeah, I mean, for crying out loud.
Plus, it'd be really hard to find a DeLorean.
That's true.
Nah, there's
true.
plenty of them around.
Okay, well,
Oh, they're not rusting, that's for sure.
I think on that note, I can't think of one. There's not one movie in all of the so we're just gonna have to leave it at that. It's just not gonna happen. So
What about a non-iconic movie, real quick, that you didn't think was that great that you think somebody could actually make a really good movie out of?
okay, you first.
Something that's somewhat known.
Thanks.
Something that's somewhat known that's
Gosh.
just okay that you could remake and make a rad movie.
A movie that I really really liked. That honestly, I think that movie that the one where Charlie Sheen plays for the Cleveland Indians.
Oh, Major League.
Major
Major
League.
League?
You could remake Major League. I think it could be done better. It was pretty good.
I'm trying to think. Was that
Charlie-
is that along the lines of like Airplane and stuff? No,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
not quite
again,
as slapstick.
There
though,
you go,
as
though.
those, right?
Yeah, but it had a lot of potential. It was just it was like, I mean, again, I wouldn't do it because it's pretty iconic in of itself.
Right.
And again,
I think
and
you
like
could-
those
yeah.
any of the Airplane films, no way, never. You could try maybe an airplane. Yeah, actually, I would. That's where I'll land. See what I did there?
I did.
Airplane. I think you could because I think there are enough comedic actors now that could carry, just the whole Leslie Nielsen.
That's just so it's just absurd comedy. That's
Right.
the whole idea. Is
Well, and
absurdity.
it's so good. I mean, he literally holds those movies together.
right.
And so, but there's I think
And then
there's
the
enough-
Naked Gun movies, they're all
Yeah.
along that vein.
I think there would be some
Think
comedic.
Jim Carrey could do it?
Oh, he would be amazing.
I don't know. I wouldn't like to see him in it.
Jim Carrey
No,
in Airplane.
He's too much. He's too big
Ha,
of a.
don't call me Shirley.
No,
I'm
he's
just
too.
kidding.
He's too big of a not actor, but too big of a personality. I don't think it
Already,
would work.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it would work. You'd have to get some somewhat unknown comedians to be in it. I think because
Yeah,
it would feel the same because at the time when they came out, those weren't really huge. Not that I remember. I mean,
Right.
They came out kind of before my time, but I don't think they were hugely known actors at the time
I
because that was kind of B movie comedy, really. Back then.
it
It was.
But I mean, if you're gonna remake it though, you
Yeah.
kind of remake it. It already has a reputation to protect.
That's true.
And so you kind of got to come out with guns.
You could have a
guns
couple
blazing.
of well-known actors in it, but you could. I mean,
That would be good.
like I think you could put like Rob Riggle in there. He would be amazing in that kind of movie.
He would be.
Well, you could put Kevin James in there.
You put Kevin
James
There's a
would
lot
be
of these that
hysterical.
are bigger actors
kind of a-
that aren't huge. I mean, they're
Right.
big, well-known actors, but
Right.
they're not Jim Carrey.
Right.
They're known, but I think that caliber
Right.
of comedian would work.
And Kanye West, put him in there somewhere.
Don't put Will Ferrell.
Put
in it.
Kanye West and
don't
Will
put Will
Ferrell
Ferrell
on
in
a
it.
plane as
No.
2 passengers on
Though-
that plane. That would be the best thing
You
ever.
could have some really fun cameos.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it'd be awesome.
Great cameos with
Oh, you'd have
some
some
comedians.
great ones. There, you could put Jim Carrey as a cameo.
As a cameo.
There
He
you
was
go.
a cameo in the Anchorman too, which was a really good cameo. He was in the Canadian News Network, which was
right.
fantastic.
Oh, gosh.
It was really funny. That was like the only good scene in that movie
The
overall.
MTV News Network. Oh, God, that was again Anchorman. Can't mess with those either. So okay. Well, I'm just that's it. That's where I'm going to leave that. Dave, that was awesome.
That was
Thanks
fun.
for coming and hanging out
Yeah,
with us
thank
today.
you.
And I hope you feel wiser and smarter. And if you have any comments below, if you know of a comedy that's been remade, because we kind of
we couldn't think of it.
couldn't really think of anything, but
sequels
but
definitely.
yeah, no, good chat. So put them in the comments below, and then check in next week because we're really gonna have fun next week. So remember, you can talk about almost anything.